In this video, I'm going to show you how to start a dovetail section. You weave with your straight tabby weave until you come to the shape that you'd like to create. Go ahead and weave across onto the back side. And if you've got extra yarn here, then just go ahead and leave it. You can cut off your needle and leave your extra yarn hanging behind. Go ahead and choose the new color. In this case, I'm making a triangle. So whatever color I want my triangle to be, I'll go ahead and get that and thread that onto my needle. So I'm ready to begin. I'm going to start here, keeping with the same pattern, but because my triangle line comes here, I don't want to go all the way over to the edge. It'd be too hard and a little bit confusing. So I'm going to begin on the second string in with an under, because I want to keep with the pattern. Over, under, over, under, over. And I'm going to go the rest of the way through that line until I get to this last warp thread on the end, because that lines up with where the triangle stops across the top. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this through. I think it's a good idea to leave a little tail here when I'm starting the shape so that I can weave that in later. Okay, now ordinarily we would keep going around the back, but what we're going to do is just weave this triangle section. So what I'm going to do is turn around now and go back the other way, and I am going to stay in my pattern, and I know what that pattern is by looking at the warp threads that are directly above it and doing the opposite. So I'm going to pull this one through. And I don't want to pull it too tight, because look what happens. If I pull that real tight, then that warp thread kind of gets distorted and pulls in. So I'm not going to do that. I just want to make it so that it's nice and loose on the end without looking sloppy. And then I'm going to go through. Of course, this is the tail that I'm going to deal with later. When I get over here, you can see that my line for where the edge of the triangle is kind of matches up with my second warp thread. So I'm going to go ahead and weave that and then go back the other way. Again, I'm not going around the back side yet because I'm just weaving this triangle in the front. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the other side. Again, keeping in my established pattern. But this time I can see that since that line is kind of going down a little bit, I'm going to stop one warp thread shorter. And then I'm going to turn around. So I'll pull this all the way through. And now I'm going to go back this way again. So can you see how that's starting to go down at a diagonal to match the shape that I drew? Okay, so I'm going to go over again to the other side. And again, you don't want to pull it too tight because that'll bring that thread in too far. When I get to this side, I'm going to again stop a little bit short. So I'm going to go under this one, over and under and back. And so I think you can start to see how each of the rows as you go down, it's going to start getting shorter and shorter until at the end, you're only going to be weaving on, say, these middle 3 threads at the very end when you get to the point. So see how it's starting to, you can start to see that diagonal coming. So you'll just keep going. Like I probably would go here again, and the next one I would probably turn on on this thread and that thread here. And I would just keep going. It's not going to be a perfectly straight line. It might end up looking a little blocky or kind of pixelated. So this might end up looking kind of like a stair step line, but that's just the way it is. And you have to do it like that to keep going. All right. So good luck with that. And in then another video, I'll show you how to weave the sides and the back once you've got your smaller section worked in there.